In this video, I'm going to give an introduction to EFT, or Emotional Freedom Technique tapping, with some updates for 2024, the how and why and where to tap. You might find this interesting even if you've already been tapping for some time. I was tapping for years before I knew some of even the basic details that I'm going to be presenting to you and showing you how to find the specific points, because research has shown, interestingly and fairly recently, that it does matter. It does matter if it's kind of accurate versus in the general vicinity. So these points that we're going to be tapping on, they are part of the acupuncture system, which is centuries old. So they have names, they have functions in that system. But they're more recently shown to something called the vascular system. So they're able, obviously, to look more closely at the body with scientific instruments and such now and see that tapping or stimulating these particular points does send calming signals to the brain and the nervous system. And what's interesting is some more recent studies have compared, okay, let's tap on like sham points, like a placebo area that's not one of these points, versus these actual places where they correspond with the body. And it's showing a difference. So it suggests that it's not just a placebo effect when you're tapping, but some physiological stuff is really happening, which is helping the whole cause here. So what is the point of tapping on these points besides calming signals to the body, which of course could be nice in and of itself, but the real beauty and art of why you can hear some of these stories of really sort of profound fears or things resolving with using EFT tapping, you'll hear about it for all sorts of subjects really, is what we're doing is consciously exposing ourselves to memories, experiences. If you're looking at YouTube videos like mine, it might be sort of more generalized topics that have an emotional charge. So, anything that causes some upset, fear, anxiety, whatever your particular emotional reaction is when you think of that or recall that, we're exposing that consciously. So we're bringing it up into our conscious mind. We're voicing our feelings, expressing what we felt or what we were feeling in the body out loud. Even if you're just speaking it in your mind, but in general, we're speaking it out loud while we are sending these calming signals via the touching of the points. It's literally desensitizing our emotional response to something. So if I recall an event, or let's say you have a trigger with the fear of snakes, seeing a snake, even sometimes the word snake or picturing one in your mind, is going to light up these responses in the body and the brain, right? You're going to have an emotional reaction to it. So in a gentle way, you bring it up in a level that is manageable for you. It's not overwhelming. Tapping on these points is telling the body and the brain, like, hey, it's actually safe here. We're okay. Now this image in your mind is still being held of the snake, and you're still speaking and getting the emotions out, but the body and brain are now starting to associate. Oh, I'm associating more a snake with the feeling of I'm safe, I'm okay. And it literally starts to change that. So this uses elements of cognitive behavioral therapy, exposure therapy. Obviously, we are putting whatever we are concerned about or dealing with in our conscious mind and speaking about it. We're not just, putting it on the back burner or repressing it, but we're doing something quite productive here. It goes layers beyond, just talking about a situation. We're kind of artfully working with our own emotional reactions here. Last interesting point is that there have been some blinded control group studies comparing treating PTSD, especially with veterans, with tapping versus without it. So therapy with tapping, therapy without it. And there's some strong case being made for the effectiveness, pretty significant at times, of really tapping on these points and doing EFT in this way, being very, very impactful, right? Way beyond just what a placebo would do. So work with a facilitator when there's something really, complex PTSD, a very intense thing in your life where it's hard to be with that by yourself, or places where you're not making progress, or if you just want to go faster. But that said, to do EFT, which we're going to do in a second here, it's free. You're just using your own hands to tap on points of your body and see how you feel and see what it does for you. You can do it with free YouTube videos on my channel, plenty of other people's. So it's not the kind of thing where you have to sign up for some $1,000 program and hope for the best. Give it a try, see what happens. So that's one of the particularly beautiful things about it for me. So what we're going to do now here is look at the actual points and go through it together. You don't have to know, I'm just putting for interest, like it says small intestine meridian. That's just where it, how it corresponds to the acupuncture system. Call this the karate chop point often, right here on the side of your hand. It's just literally the pinky side, this fleshy part. This is where you tap and we say the setup statements. Like, even though I am feeling this fear in my chest when I think of a snake, I choose to accept myself anyway. That's an example. So we are introducing what we are feeling, what our issue is, and making a conscious choice to say, I accept myself, I accept the fact that I feel this, right? We're welcoming what we're experiencing and doing this process is sort of doing it for us in a lot of ways to help make it not bad or wrong or this thing where we're at war with ourselves. We're using this to gently help ourselves move through it. And so that's just in the beginning, typically, while we do the setup statement. Then we've got these points, right? The bladder meridian. So that's the eyebrows where those dots are. If you go to the eyebrow closest, the side that's, towards your nose, and just go right basically to the edge of the eyebrow there. And you're tapping on that point. You can do both. You'll see some people do both hands. I tend to just do one hand. But yeah, if you use two fingers in particular and you're right at the edge of the eyebrow here, kind of in the upper corner of your eye, but by the brow, you're going to be hitting that point. Next, the gallbladder meridian. That's the side of the eye. So that's actually on the bone, which, some people are kind of more vaguely over just around the side of their eye. You get closer to your eye, you'll feel there's an actual bone there. You want to hit that. You don't have to pound on it, just stimulating there on that orbital bone. The next, the stomach meridian. Again, you don't need to know that it's stomach meridian. There's also, you can feel this sort of bone here under the eye. So make contact with that gently, so you're getting up closer to your eye. Don't be just kind of tapping down here more like on your cheek, which you will see sometimes. Get there up on your eye. That's going to be hitting that spot. Again, either hand, both hands is fine. This is in the governing meridian. This is under the nose, you'll typically hear said. So if you imagine this distance between your lip and the bottom of your nose, you're going about 2/3 of the way up. So as long as you're, just kind of going up towards your nose in that sort of space there, a little more than halfway, you'll be hitting that. And you can see that. See that here. Next is similarly, they call it the conception meridian. This is like if your chin is the bottom and your lip, the bottom of your lip is the top. Again, it's like about 2/3 of the way up. Little indentation. For some people, at least I feel there's sort of a curvature there. So it's like before it's bending up to your lips, right? You've got that spot there. Now we've got the kidney meridian. This is the collarbone. This is one where it's between the clavicle and the first rib. If that doesn't mean anything to you, that's fine. If you go to kind of where these bones sort of pop out of your neck, like if you, kind of come down from your chin, go down your throat, and just go to this center here, you'll feel these sort of two bones right on either side. This collarbone here. What you want to do is go down just a little bit, like the distance of your thumb, like your thumbprint, right? Just down a bit, and then towards the shoulder. So on the bony point, down towards the shoulder, what you'll typically feel is there's like a little indentation there. So you're not right on bone. The bones kind of create the internal space around it. So if you're like feeling right on bone, you move a bit and you'll be in like a fleshier spot. It's often a little tender. That's the spot you want to tap in. This is another one where sometimes people are just sort of tapping almost on their throat or on the bone. But if you get into that spot there, that fleshy spot, you want to do that. Now there's another spot that sometimes people use. It's kind of lower in the chest. I don't typically do that. A lot of people actually don't do that point. This spleen meridian that we're going to do next is, the picture doesn't help very much. It's just to show that it's like armpit. So chest, center of the chest, and then just kind of go out to the side. Maybe if like you're giving yourself a hug, right? It's kind of directly center of your pecs, and then just go over into your armpit, basically. If you can feel lat muscles, if you know where those are, it's kind of right in that spot too. So as long as you're in there, you're going to be on point. Again, I don't want to make it sound like you have to be like precise to the centimeter, but you'll see people just sort of kind of missing the mark here. Center of the chest, your pecs here, into the armpit there, tap in there, you'll be good. And then this is also on the governing meridian, the top of the head. This is one where you'll see people kind of just like flailing around the top of their head in circles and stuff. What they found is, no, you want this spot, whereas typically like a little indentation. One way you can get to it is you just put your thumbs here on the top of your ears, and then your index fingers, if you bring your index fingers together, they'll come basically naturally to the center of your head. And you'll feel there's a little bit of a spot there, even if you don't, as long as you're kind of there and you're tapping. You might use all the fingers, but if you're in that ballpark versus tapping around the circle, you're going to be hitting that spot. So that's the places to hit it. So we'll actually do a round together just to kind of reinforce these points, especially if you've never done this before. So you tap here. This is always where we start with the setup statement. I'll actually do a setup statement. Maybe this will help kind of ingrain it into your body a bit. And tapping here and repeating after me, I choose to help my body remember these points. And whether I do or not, I completely accept myself, and I can simply look again or download many images on Google. I choose to remember these points in my body. I choose to honor myself. I choose to help my body remember these points. And I choose to honor and accept myself right where I am today. Okay, so you're going to tap here, edge of the eyebrow. This is my eyebrow point. Go to that little bone on the side of your eye. Repeat after me. This is the side of the eye point. Little bone under the eye. This is under the eye. Go on your upper lip. Go about 2/3 of the way up towards your nose here. This is under the nose. Again, from your chin, about 2/3 of the way up to your lips. This is my under the mouth point. Find these little bones that stick out here around your collarbone. Go down just a bit, and then to a little bit towards the shoulder. We get to that indentation there. This is my collarbone point. And then again, kind of right in the center of the pecs here, go into that armpit area. Tap here. I use all my fingers just to make sure I get in there. This is my under the arm point. Going now to the center of your head. Again, you can put the thumbs on the side, touch your fingers, tap. And this is my top of the head point. Okay, take a deep breath. Yeah, you'll find some people start top of the head. I, by habit, tend to start here on the eyebrow. It's all good. The other thing is, it's so quick to do it, right, that you're going to hit all the points anyway. So in the acupuncture system, certain points are associated with certain emotions and such. I don't even have those memorized because, maybe I should, but you're going to hit them all anyway. It takes, a couple seconds to go through them. So whatever you're feeling, whatever you're dealing with, we hit all the points anyway. So if you're dealing with a fear, you're never just dealing with one thing. right? There's always layers and nuances, which is why we just go through everything as you experience what you're going through. So hope that helps. Again, lots of videos here on my channel of actual tapping rounds. Now this will make more sense to you. Hopefully you can apply this to your own for other topics, other areas of your life. And if you are watching this because you're doing an upcoming workshop of mine or a call, and this is your first exposure to EFT tapping, then I am very much looking forward to seeing you and working with you there. All right, take care.